Hello, hello, you guys, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which I am here to help you develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult with our focus and emphasis on our Black children, Black adults, Black families here in America and across the globe. Welcome, and mo welcome to you. I am so happy to be here because I get to read to you all. And I am going to just go right into the book that I have been reading. Let me show you guys real quick. Give you the guys the cover right here, which is Stealing the Game by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Obstfeld. All right. And for those of you who need to get caught up on where we are, I would advise you to go back to chapter 1 so you can get caught up on this awesome read aloud, okay? This book is just getting more exciting after each chapter that I read. I am just like thirsting for more. And I hope that you all feel the same way. And I hope that even if you did not get your reading in yet, this constitutes as reading. All right. So when you're listening to books being read aloud, whether it is in person or on audio, that is considered reading as well. So make sure that you get your healthy daily dose of reading. Let's go. When is a hole not a hole? Riddle of the day, Mr. Lawbaugh said. He held up a DVD of The Breakfast Club. This is the prize. It got me through a rough and tumultuous puberty. I reluctantly part with it in the name of higher education. A brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal? Clancy quoted. That's right, Mr. Lawbaugh said. Kinda like us, Clancy said. Yeah, Clancy's pal Dirk said, with you as the basket case. They both chuckled and bumped fists. It occurred to me for the first time that I had never bumped fists with anyone. I mean, I had obliged when they'd stuck their fists out expectantly, but I'd never instigated one, never offered my fist first. I'd shaken hands with people when introduced, just as my parents had taught me to do, but the fist bump was different, more personal, implying friendship or acknowledging a shared moment. I started to imagine a superhero called Fist Bump, whose slightest knuckle bump could shatter buildings. Mr. Lawbaugh interrupted. Okay, here's the riddle. Everybody take out your pencil and paper because there will be math. A collective groan rose from the students, myself included. Here we go. A grave digger digs a hole in the ground that's 2 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet. How much dirt is in the hole? I jotted down the numbers. Without having written anything at all, Theo and Brooke shouted out in unison, 72 square feet! Everyone put their pencils down in defeat. That was fast, Mr. Lawbaugh said. I believe I was slightly faster, Brooke said. A few students protested that Theo was faster, or at least just as fast. Brooke ignored them and stared at Mr. Lawbaugh for a ruling. He fanned himself with the DVD as if trying to decide. Break it in half, Clancy quipped, like King Solomon did with the baby. He didn't cut the baby in half, genius, Brooke said to Clancy. He only threatened to. I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just came out. But I couldn't take it back. It was so unusual that everyone turned to look at me. Brooke's eyes flared, widening as if to allow more of her death ray to fire across the room at me. Chris, Mr. Lawbaugh said, do you want to comment? Not really, I thought. I want to run to the gym and shoot free throws until this knot in my gut goes away. I shook my head. Nope. But Mr. Lawbaugh didn't look away from me. He waited. Everyone waited. Well, I said, I think the answer is that there's no dirt because it's a hole. The class looked at Mr. Labaugh. He walked over to my desk, stared at me a long, really long moment, then smiled and handed me the DVD. Nicely done, Chris. The class erupted in chatter. I heard a way to go, Chris, and yay, Chris. Someone called me the nerd slayer, referring to Theo and Brooke. Theo grinned and gave me a thumbs up. Brooke raised her hand and waved it. That's not fair, Mr. Labaugh. You told us there would be math. That answer didn't require any math. Yes, it did, he replied. It required that you ignore math and think outside the parallelogram. Right, Chris? I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. Let's take out our copies of The Catcher in the Rye and see what our old pal Holden's been up to, Mr. Labaugh said. Now there's a basket case, Clancy said. I was relieved to start discussing Holden's problems so I could forget about my own. Look at that, y'all. That's what's up. Oh, snap. First of all, I just want to say shout out to the authors again of this book because they've so far given a couple of riddles that I've given to kids that we've had our reading events at. So what I typically like to do is give riddles to the kids, to get them to, again, think outside the box or the parallelogram, right? And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh my God, when I read that, I said, I gave the kids that riddle before. So, and that's actually another way you can get your children into reading. Start off by having riddles. All right. I'm telling you, riddles are like just awesome when you're trying to, get the crowd into something or you're doing an event and you want to get the kids to start thinking, or even adults. I keep referring to just kids, adults too. Adults love riddles. I know I love riddles. So just wanted to give that little tip. All right. And I hope that you all enjoyed that chapter. And make sure you tune in for our next chapter as well of Stealing the Game, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Obstfeld. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share these videos. And please remember to make sure that you're reading in at least 30 minutes. Do more, but make sure you don't go no lower than 30. Peace.